Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Fanboyz. And before we jump on in, there's a bunch of, what do we normally call it? House cleaning, is that it? Or housekeeping?
Yeah, housekeeping, house cleaning, it differs.
It differs, that's great. It differs, ladies and gentlemen. It differs. So
did I use the wrong word there?
Well,
again?
You could say, I don't even know what you're trying to say there.
It varies.
There you go. It varies. Well, no, differs is all right, but not differs. It's just weird. But anyways, whatever. So by now, you guys hopefully have heard the news that I'm potentially going to be going back to school. It's going to be a really intensive program. I'm looking at taking an executive MBA program, and just in a very, quick nutshell, I don't want to repeat everything I already said, but it's been performance review time at work, and yes, I do have a day job, so does Steven. And basically, if I want to move into like the top tier, I'm going to need something like an executive MBA or just an MBA, whatever you want to call it. It's very, very standard. My work experience and my previous education is all fine and dandy, but not to get into like that next tier. And they want me to go into the next tier. So I was like, okay, well, I'll see what I can do. And just the opportunity was there. So I figured, what the hell, right? I'll give it a go. So I've just been practicing for a test called the GMAT that I'm going to have to take in actually a couple of weeks, so much sooner than I originally planned. And so what that means is you're going to have, the content's going to be really screwed up over the next couple of weeks. Notice I say weeks, I don't say years or anything like that. And that's because I just don't know what is happening. So I've literally dropped everything right now to focus solely on preparing for that test. So every free moment I have, I'm basically prepping for the test. But that doesn't mean that everything's about to stop. Not at all. Because I have to write that test by, I think it's like the first week of May, I want to say. Right around the time I have a conference I got to go to. So I think I'm going to go to the conference, come back, write the test. And then from there, I'll know immediately if I got in. Like immediately, because as soon as you're done the test, it's an adaptive test, so you get a score that flashes on the screen right away. And I'm aiming for like a 550, 560. That's where I need to be to get into the program. If I get that, well then there we go. Then I'll actually sit with you, Steven, and we'll make a plan. We'll figure out like, okay, what is it that we're going to do? Because once the work ramps up with the school, it's going to be brutally hard to keep up with just about anything. Even work, it's going to be hard to do. But if I take the exam and it like spits out 205, well, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, there's no chance in hell I'm going to get, I'm going to have of getting accepted into that program, and then nothing changes, content goes on forever. But at least I'll know, and I'll make the arrangements for like next year, let's say. This is all because I only just found out about this last week. If I would have known about this weeks ago, then, or even a month ago, then things would be different. So let's say I get into the program, what's going to change around here? Well, pretty much what we're going to keep going. You're going to get your Dragon Quest 10 weekly videos. That's going to happen. I can guarantee that. I can also guarantee that these podcasts will continue. That's not going to change. The format might change ever so slightly if I don't have time to play anything. So in that case, we might have to use webcams or something, but I'm not sure. And then that's that. That'll be pretty much the only thing I'll be able to promise, because like having the weekly retro reviews, that's never going to happen if I get accepted in. There's going to be a little pause in them while I'm studying for the GMAT, but as soon as I'm done the GMAT, like that'll go back. Like, because they're really easy to do, the retro reviews. But if I get into the program, then we'll have to talk. And all the other content that we have has been random anyways, so we'll see. I'm not currently playing anything. I've got Dragon Quest Builders that I just played for a bit to get Steven some footage. He's got 2 reviews that are going to be going up. Probably, I'm holding them back on purpose, one of them, because I know that we're about to get into like Retro Wednesdays having nothing, so I'd like to actually put Dragon Quest Builders on a Retro Wednesday, and then the other game I'd like to do the same thing. I forget what it is. What is it? Something in the Woods?
Night in the Woods.
Yeah, Night in the Woods. So I'd just like to do that because Night in the Woods, isn't that also an older game?
Well, technically not for the Switch, but yeah, I think it's a 2017 game.
Yeah, okay. So just that. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got for that. Just, we're not going to disappear. We're not going like away forever or anything like that. I've already had like a bajillion comments from people like, oh no, and everything. It's like, just don't worry. There's also lots of pauses and breaks and stuff like that. And I honestly don't know what kind of workload like I'm expecting. I have no idea if this is going to be even doable, to be really honest with you. I don't know yet. But outside that, what have you been up to?
Well, I just want to spoilers here. You're going to get accepted. I have zero doubts about that. And just from this week and from the text response I've had with you, I can tell you guys that all you're going to get is Dragon Quest in the podcast. And even that, like I offered to solo this one and you said you wanted to do it. So we're going to have a dual one, but I think we're going to have a lot more solo podcasts in the future because it seems like this has taken over your life, and that's a pretty good thing for you. You seem very excited about this pretty high or big career move, so very glad for you. But I think that if you're expecting the regular COE content, I know Jared is being what's the word I'm looking for here?
Switzerland.
Optimistic. But yeah, you're only gonna get the DQ videos and the podcast from Jared, but that's okay. We'll manage. I hope you keep on streaming. That's something we had a lot of momentum going in the last few months, and that's awesome. I've never had as much fun since I'm with the site than when you're streaming and we're actually communicating with our fans live. That's very, very wonderful, and I can't wait to actually stream with you at some point. As for what has been going on with me, well, basically my life's pretty much the same. My sons are doing fantastic. My youngest has decided that now he wants to sleep with us every night, so that's fun. But besides that, I've been playing video games from here and there, mostly 3DS stuff lately. I've been finally delved into Rune Factory 4, which you bought me for Christmas, and it's a fantastic game. I'm about 10 hours in, and I don't think this is a game that I'll play to the end because it's a 60-hour game. And from what I've played, it's a lot of fun, but I can see where it goes. And I'm just, sometimes if you play a game for 10 hours, like, you've got your money's worth. Like, I didn't pay for this game, but 10 hours is still pretty good, and I had a fun with it. And there are other games right now that I want to play that are coming out, like Kirby. I just started Kirby. Detective Pikachu, I want to play that. It's coming out today. So there's tons of stuff that are coming out. Also, I played Payday 2 on the Switch. That came out last month, I believe. And it's a mixed bag, really, because you can tell this is not really a popular game because I have a big issue with the game, is that I have a friend who bought it as well, and we wanted to play local multiplayer. So he came here with his Switch, and we wanted to play wireless local multiplayer, and it's in the game, and it's advertised as a feature for the game. And we are both like in our 30s. We've both been playing games forever, and we couldn't figure out how to make it work. And I've Googled it, and it seems like nobody did the research on it. Like, everybody who reviewed this game probably didn't try this and just basically played it for a bit and didn't necessarily gave it like the same treatment as they would for Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild, because this is not a major title. But it seems like that feature is not actually accessible right now. And I'm not sure if you've ever played the ad hoc with Mario Kart 8. Maybe you did. Maybe there's something specific that you need to do when you're trying something like that. But we could not figure it out, and we ended up just we were both here and we played online on both our systems, and that's not ideal because my internet speed is not high. So we really wanted to play wireless multiplayer and local, but we couldn't figure it out. And from what I've played about 10 hours of the game. I can tell you that it's made for 4-player multiplayer, because we've played a lot, mostly 2-player, and even the missions that are there's 0 stars, and I think there's up to 7 stars of difficulty. Even the 0-star missions are insanely hard when you're playing only 2-player, and we're like level 40 right now, and we still get our ass kicked when we play those missions. But we tried one with 4 and we aced it very, very easily. It's simply because most of the time you have objective, like you need to pick up 4 items and bring it to our specific locations, so you can only have a limit of 1 item per character, but the AI doesn't seem to actually want to help you, so they don't do anything. So that's the big problem I have right now with the game. It's fun for 4-player, but I think it's, if you're planning on playing this alone or with a single friend, you might want to pick up something else, because it's not really doing it for me right now as a single-player game. What else have I been playing? I had one other game I wanted to talk about, but I think versus Super Mario Brothers. That's the first time I had never actually played that game, the arcade version of Super Mario Brothers, and it's pretty much the same game, except it has some major differences. Like, some of the levels are actually from the Lost Levels or Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, and it makes the game way harder. And the biggest difference is that once you do the warps, like, I can basically beat the game in like 5 or 6 minutes, but not this one, because the final warp doesn't take you to level 8 or world 8, it takes you to world 6, which makes it a lot different, especially since most of the levels after that are from the Lost Levels. So it's extremely hard, but it's a lot of fun. And there's one other game I wanted to talk about, but it will probably come back to me later on. So if you want to speak a bit, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I think you're right, like with what you said about, like, me and the video content I produce. But you know what's kind of sad is that I'm actually playing 2 games right now, and this is kind of like, I just find it very unfortunate that I don't have an easy way of capturing footage for some of the stuff. And what the hell I'm talking about? I'm talking about Dragon Quest Builders. I'm actually playing Dragon Quest Builders right now because I love Dragon Quest, and I was like, well, if I just stream it, right? Like, if I just have an episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, I'm never going to finish it if all of this works out, like with the executive MBA. Because, like, when the only time I'm playing the game is quite literally on the bus, on the train, like at break, during work, stuff like that. So obviously, how do you stream to Twitch? Like, that's not possible. And the other game is a game that I will allow you to tell the people what I'm playing. Come on.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Sure you do. Come on. I've been texting you. You see, Steven, by the way, if you don't know, he texts me and then he disappears, or he says he doesn't get it, the messages, and then I do the exact same thing. So it's really funny when you combine the two of us. I really, truly though, I think it's our signals, because some stuff doesn't make any sense. Like, sometimes
in the morning I always start my work. I get up at 6, but I'm usually at the first store I do it around 6:37, and that store has like a really weak Wi-Fi signal. And if I would disconnect myself from it and just use the 3G, I think we'd have better, because I noticed that when I'm at that store, like, you don't receive half the text, or I don't receive half the text. So
yeah, because that's the thing. Like, because sometimes, like, you're like, oh, you monster, like, you're always ditching me, you're the worst. And that's literally what I get. I get three messages like that in a row, and I usually, if it's early morning, yeah, all true is right. I'll show Serena as she's getting up, and she's like, does he have mental problems? I'm like, yes, yes, he does, because it's like, what the hell? I've never been tested though,
so there's no proof.
Anyways, I did text you a little while ago, probably 5 days ago, 6 days ago, something like that. Or maybe not even, maybe only 4 days ago, I don't know, whatever. Telling you that after I finished Dragon Quest XI, the stream, And I started playing Dragon Quest. I'm only in the second chapter.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember now.
Ah, there it is. So what is it?
Dragon Quest 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Chapters of the Chosen subtitle?
Yep. That's the one. So I decided, well, like I've got a bunch of games here, right? I didn't really pay for any of these things, and I really wanted to jump into Lost Sphere, but I was like, man, you know, like that would be a great game to stream. Ahmed had a great idea. He was like, why don't you connect your PlayStation TV, you know, that little box thing that plays Vita games? And he's like, why don't you download Vagrant Story? He's like, no one is playing that game. And you were kept harassing me and were like, you need to play more than one game. So I was like, okay, cool. Why don't I take a look at Dragon Quest Builders, Vagrant Story, and Lost Odyssey? And I could sort of, Lost Sphere. And I could go back and forth. Again, this was before about the NBA stuff. So I had just started planning all of that. And that was going to be my surprise. Like, I was going to be like, okay, so Friday what I'm going to do is the morning will be, say, Vagrant Story, and the afternoon would be like Dragon Quest Builders. And then on Saturday, like in the afternoon, after I do my Dragon Quest 10 stuff, I could do the other game. So Lost Sphere or DQ Builders or Vagrant Story or whatever. So that was the plan. I had everything ready, and I was all like ready to start this like now, today. And that went in the toilet the minute, I found out about this executive MBA and all of that. But I was like, well, damn it, I'm not going to just stop playing games. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I like playing games. Kirby was the other one. I actually have Kirby right here. That was the last game that I purchased was Kirby. And I'm looking forward to this. I want to play this game, but it's like, I'm stuck now. So I got to the point where I was like, I don't know what to do. And this is the truth. Like, I'm like, I just don't know what to do. Like, my plans just got completely shot because now I have to study for this stupid entrance exam. And that's going to take up, hours and hours and hours and hours to do that. So I was like, well, do I want to bring my Switch and play Kirby or Lost, I keep saying Lost Odyssey, but Lost Sphere? Or Dragon Quest Builders. So Dragon Quest Builders, I started a bit and I was like, I don't want to get too far because it is the type of game that could be fun to do some random streams. So I said, you know what? Grab my 3DS, and if you don't know this, I have a carrying case. I don't think this is official. I think I bought this from Japan or something. And basically the top row, it holds 8 games. And the top row is the last Pokemon games. So it's got Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. And then the bottom 4 has Dragon Quest 4, 5, and 6. And then the latest Dragon Quest that I was playing. So I was playing 8, I was playing 7, and I was playing 9 were the last ones. And I always keep a Dragon Quest game in my, if you don't know this, in my portable carry cases. That's just the way I roll. So I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I had just finished... Like I said, I had just finished 9, 10, 11, and... Well, no, wait, let's go back. I had just finished 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the last year and a half, something like that. So I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool to go back, and since they're right here, I might as well go back and play 4, 5, and 6. I think that would be kind of neat to do that. So I started playing... number 4, Chapters of the Chosen, and it's one of those games, if you don't know, it's not overly long, and that's what I really like about some of those Dragon Quest games. They're not ridiculously long unless you want to make them ridiculously long, so you can actually polish these off in about 20, 25 hours, something like that, which is not bad. So just this week with me going to work and playing for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour at lunch, something like that. I'm actually something like almost 9 hours into Dragon Quest 4 already, which is pretty crazy. And so what I'm going to do is when I'm done, I'm going to review whichever ones we don't have, which you said were 4 and 5, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So
and I don't think we have 2 and 3 either.
Yeah, that's right. 2 and 3 though, I'm gonna wait until Dragon Quest 11 comes out because they're gonna. I'm sure they're going to release the 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation store at the very least. So, anyways, all this to say, I'm currently right at the end of Mina and Maya's chapter. So that means I'm almost at chapter 5, which is the chosen one. And I was telling you yesterday about I think it wasn't it you? I was telling you about the cheat that you can do, or the cheat that I call it.
Yeah.
So if those of you that don't know, with Tornico, you can sell items, right? And eventually you get to the point where his wife has opened up this particular shop, and the king requests you to find, I forget what it is. It's a certain number of swords and a certain number of armors. And the way you can cheat the game is that if you ignore the request and continue to sell those items to your wife, you actually end up getting like double the amount of gold that you would if you sold it anywhere else. And then what you do with that gold is you can go back to the very first town, and if you play the mini game where you can sell items, all you got to do is go in behind, like there's like a little counter type thing, and all these NPCs will come one after another, and they'll just be like, oh, here, I want to buy this from you, I want to buy that from you. You're not going to make any money in that trade, but eventually one character will come up and say, oh, listen, I have this special sword I'd like to sell. And if you buy it for that other dude's shop, you can then come back later on, once you're making $1 bajillion, and purchase multiple swords, so that when you reach chapter 5 with the hero, you can then equip multiple characters with one of the most powerful weapons that you can get at that particular point in the game. And it makes the game much easier. And instead of having to grind out, you can just play all the way through the end of the game. So there you go, little known fact for you.
That's amazing.
It is. Damn it. And now we'll both just be quiet.
Quiet for the rest of the show.
Yeah, that's it. Enjoy, people. So no, let's see. What day was that infamous direct on?
You keep calling it a direct, but it was a Nindies showcase, and it was
still
this
a direct.
Tuesday.
Damn it, I don't care.
Tuesday.
So why don't you run us through it? What knocked your socks off?
A little game called The Messenger. I don't know if you've seen it now.
Yep, it looks terrible.
It looks terrible, yeah. And it's actually made from people close to you. It's made by a team called Sabotage, and I believe they're in Quebec City. And it's awesome because it's made by Canadians, and it just looks amazing. I'm surprised you're not more excited about this game, because I don't know, maybe, did you love Ninja Gaiden growing up?
Nope.
No?
No, I didn't. It was one of those games where we didn't have, who was it? It wasn't me, who owned it, and one of the friends in our group that was like a big fan was too big of a fan of it, so the little son of a bee would always hog it. So
so you never really played those games?
Yeah, well, exactly. I saw them, I thought they were cool, but they weren't like Castlevania. Castlevania I played the crap out of. Okay.
Well, anyway, it just the visuals of it got me excited when it first started popping out. And it basically plays like a Ninja Gaiden game, or Gaiden, and it has a special mechanic where at some point you can switch through 16-bit, and the graphics and the music and everything changes to Super Nintendo kind of a game. So it looks amazing. Kind of funny. Just did a let's play of it right now. It just popped today, Friday, the 21st, I believe, or the 23rd actually, and it just popped up, and it's just amazing, and it's breathtaking, and I can't wait to play this. This is a day one purchase for me. So yeah, that was the highlight, but there was a few other for my perspective, and then we can talk about what you highlighted. But sure. The other one for me is called I think it's Pull Panic. And it's basically it reminds me of Golf Story, in the sense that in Golf Story you can drop a ball anywhere and tee off, and it looks in this, basically it's a billiards game or a pool game, and it seems like you can hit a ball anywhere. It's a lot more cartoonish than Golf Story. It doesn't have the 16-bit style, or the six Golf Story 16-bit. Was it 16-bit? You'd say?
Yeah, more, and everybody ignore the phone. Don't worry about that. That's that's our usual professionalism. But yeah, it was around that. It was about like 8-bit, 16-bit, like somewhere in between. So like a 12-bit.
Okay, so Pool Party. I don't remember. Did it have 3D visuals in a 2D background? What did it anyway? It looks pretty cool. I don't think this is going to be the same caliber as Golf Story, but still, it caught my eye. Something I'm going to keep. I look forward to. And there was another game. There was kind of a Western RPG stick game.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, it looked pretty cool. There was some very interesting games in there, and the most cool stuff about that is they're all games that are supposed to be released this year, and most of them will be out by the time the summer ends. So that was pretty interesting for me.
Yeah, I also like the fact that they, like, a lot of them were, like, play it first on Switch and stuff like that, or like console exclusive, which was pretty cool. I like when when they try to do stuff like that. I know it doesn't benefit the consumer, sort of, because you guys, everybody's like, well, what the hell, man, like, I want to play it, but I only have like a PS4 or an Xbox One or whatever. But I do appreciate when the companies try and do this sort of stuff, because it shows that they are making an effort to do something a little, like, to have that little something else. And there was one other game. I mean, you mentioned all the stuff that I would have talked about except for one game. Messenger, right, is the one you're saying? Yeah. So that's really unique in a lot of ways. Like, it really feels like. Were you a fan of Shovel Knight?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Because Shovel Knight was one of those games from the moment I saw that on Kickstarter, and people tend to forget that it was actually a Kickstarter release, that it like felt special. Like, there was something about it that was just like, wow, this is sick. And this game has that. Like, it looks like, and that it will feel like an 8-bit / 16-bit game. And I love that mechanic where it switches graphic styles between the two. I think that's absolutely awesome. And it just looks like an awesome Ninja Gaiden Castlevania, like an action platforming game from the old day. And I'm excited for that too. To be really honest with you, I'm excited for that. I think it looks really, really cool. The billiard game, or the pool game that you're talking about, also looks cool, but it was kind of weird. Like, it does give off that sort of feeling of Golf Story. The only thing why I say it was kind of weird is that the announcer said that there was like over 100 levels or something like that, and I was like, oh, that's unique, like, because it's not. I don't think it's gonna be like some fleshed out, like,
I don't think it's an RPG with a story.
Yeah, precisely, exactly.
Just but the mechanic of being able to golf everywhere, it seemed present here.
Yeah, exactly. And so that looks really cool. And the other one that I don't remember any of the names, so I apologize for that, is there's this like chicken game where
it's called Bomb Chicken.
Bomb Chicken. There you go. I don't know why, but it's another one of those that looks very refined, very cute, where you can, like, it looks like you're like pooping out bombs, and you can make platforms, and you can make walls so that, like, projectiles can't hit you. All kinds of funky looking stuff, and that looked really up my alley as well. So those are like the three big takeaways that I got from the Nindies, or whatever it's called. I know you love that title so much.
Oh yes, I do.
So yeah, that's that was that. I mean, I was impressed, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I was quite impressed.
Yeah, there's a ton of, like, that's the thing with me right now, is that those are the games I'm playing the most on Switch. And that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the eShop every day, and I find it funny because I'm always talking to you about games, and I don't know if it's your stubbornness to always go physical, or the fact that you're older than me, but it seems like you're ignorant of most of these gems that are on the Switch right now. And I can't help but being like very happy to see that this is gonna continue for a long time, and I know that at some point the games will stop. Like the stories about everything right now on the Switch sells better than everywhere else when it comes to indie stuff. I think it will stop at some point, but so far it seems like it hasn't begun to stop. And the quality of games we're getting, because it's not like there's some turds on the eShop. There every week there's a lot of games that are released that shouldn't probably exist, but it's surprising the amount of quality that's hidden in there. And even like games like Celeste and Night in the Woods, which are not, as far as indie is concerned, not necessarily hidden, that especially Celeste, everybody knows about Celeste except for you apparently, but like there's so much quality stuff. Like for example, I just downloaded a game. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it's only $6 and it's made by Mike Biddle. And I learned about it from the Kind of Funny podcast, and I decided to download it because it speaks to me. It's basically Mass Effect and stuff like that, just the conversation aspects. And it's a 2-hour adventure game, futuristic robot game where you're a robot detective and you speak to people and there's multiple choices, and that's it. There's not really much gameplay in it, but it's $6, 2-hour game from a renowned developer. Why not give it a shot? And I'm sure it will be fantastic. I think it has a Metacritic of 8.4. There's tons of stuff like this on the Switch, and Night in the Woods is a perfect example. I can't wait for the review, and I'm glad that from what you actually played, you seem to have enjoyed it, because I was wondering, anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but I was wondering if you would love it. And that's a game I took a chance on because I kept hearing about it. Like I listened to a ton of podcasts, and that helps. But I heard about this game, and I actually heard it from Greg Miller, who did not really connect with this game. And then when it was released on Switch, I decided to take a chance. $20. I said, why not? And if you look at my playtime, I have over 35 hours of playtime in that game right now for $20, and it's one of my favorite games of the year. And it's just amazing, and it's something I took a chance on, and that's why I'm beginning to go like full indie. I just downloaded another game called Enter the Gungeon. Don't know if you've heard about that one, but I'm not sure about this, but it seems like it's made from the same people who made The Binding of Isaac, and I could be totally wrong, but it feels similar to that game. It plays very similar to that game, and it has the same concept. So it seems like it's made by the same people, but it could be from a totally different developer. But it's a twin stick shooter, roguelike, dungeon crawling features. So it seems like it is, but it's really fun. I haven't had a chance to play that much. I also want to talk about the Nintendo Rewards program, because I gave it a bit of I was a bit harsh on it during our Nintendo Direct impressions that we did on Twitch, and I still think that the rewards are a bit too low. Like they could up the percentage, but I've been using it lately. And for example, when I downloaded Enter the Gungeon, I got $4 off by using my points, and it's super easy to do so. And since I download most of my games, I get tons of points. So why not? Like they have zero obligations to do so, and it gives you, like, for this $6 game I downloaded, I got 77 cents off. Like it might not seem like much, but those 77 cents off were like I got them off basically free, you know. So I think that the system could be a bit better, but like for those who download lots of games like I do, it's like fun to get rewarded and get like dollars off that you can use to buy more games later. So really like this stuff, and I'm really looking forward to, like, there was another game was called like what, Lightfall, something like that, looks absolutely ridiculous. Like I wish I had the list of games in front of me. I wish we were more prepared for this podcast, because there was a lot of other games in that showcase, and even immediately after the showcase, more games were announced on Twitter. What's the name of the game? Oxum something was announced. That's it looks like a 2D Zelda game with like intense visuals. Like there's so much games coming out, and I'm such a happy camper as long as these keeps going. And I know there's a gold rush right now on Switch. Unfortunately, it has attracted a few stinkers, but so far so good. And right now, the developers that are releasing their games on Switch are getting rewarded, and I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, man. I've actually used my points quite a bit, because don't forget that for Retro Wednesday, every game I've purchased has been a digital release there. So I've got I had tons of points. So I used those in the last round of downloads that I made. Actually, it was your game there, A Night in the Woods. I actually got a couple of dollars off because of that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I wish they would give out more points, because obviously you always want more stuff as a consumer, but it could. I don't know what the percentage is. Is it 5%?
Oh,
for digital stuff?
I haven't actually looked into it, so I'm not sure. But
anyway, it's just that people are complaining because for physical stuff, it's not much, but they want to persuade you
to
make
digital
physical. Because that's another issue I have, is that people don't realize it. We have some. I remember when we talked about Severed, we have some people in the comments that say they want to wait for a physical version. And that always bugs me, because these developers need your support, and even when there's a physical, and that's why you've had kind of a mini change of heart lately. But even when there's a physical version of a game, usually almost 100% of the time, if you buy the physical version, the developer will make tons more money on that. So if you truly want to support the developer, that's the way to go. And Nintendo's obviously makes more money that way too, so that's why they're offering you more coins. So I'm 100% behind that. I think it's smart, and yeah, I think 5% is pretty fair. I know that 1% of an $80 game is 80 cents, so that might not seem like much, but that's an incentive that hopefully in the future you might reconsider. So I would hope they would just give out just a bit more, like maybe 10% coins. I know that's a lot of free money, but you'd be surprised at how much more money people would spend if you do that. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the rewards program. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, not really, man. That's
okay.
That's good. I mean, I actually, right now, I mean, what I personally like with the Nindies, or just the indie titles in general, is that they take up a small amount of space. That's been something that I really, really like. Like the big, huge games, like some of them are insane, man. Like your Doom and games like that, like, oh my lord, they take forever to download, and there's not much space and this and that. And that's why, personally, I haven't been a big fan of doing that with those large retail releases. But with indie games, it's not a problem at all. Like, it really isn't a problem to do that. And it's been cool. I mean, it's been really, really cool. And there's been some really good gems. I mean, I had personally, like, Golf Story remains like one of the best games on that platform. And that's just an indie release. And for you, with Stardew Valley and like all these other games now that you're playing more and more, I mean, it's cool stuff, man. It's really, really cool.
Yep. Celeste is one you should stream, man. Like,
well,
all the games
Celeste
you're streaming
one
right now is like RPG story-based games. Like, I'd like for you to stream a game that like is fun to react to the action and see you fail and then actually succeed, and the excitement around that. Celeste, I think, is a perfect game.
You know, Celeste is the type of game that you would be good at streaming, because Celeste is going to be one of those games that's just not my style of game. I can already tell that from what I've seen of it. It's most likely a very good like game, and I actually own it. I bought it just to show support for that, but I already know that it's not going to be. I'm going to get so frustrated with that I'm just going to be like, all right, that's enough of that, because that's not the type of thing that like I'm.
Yeah, but that's fun to watch someone streaming a game for an hour. I'm not telling you to stream Celeste episode 1 to 10 and finish the whole game. I'm just saying, give it a chance.
Yeah,
even
but
if
I'm
you
just
fail,
saying, like,
it's fun.
It's this is why it sucks that you can't do some of these things, because that's where like it would be really good to like mix and match with some of these things. Like if you you don't have the ability to do it, but if you had the ability to do some of this, I think it'd be really really cool stuff to alternate between. But anyways, whatever the case may be. So what else is on the agenda?
I really had one other topic I wanted to talk about, and I forgot it.
Of course, naturally.
So while I try, do you have a blast from the past, good sir?
Yeah, give me a sec. I have a list here.
That's true, you're prepared.
Yes,
so
damn right.
Go ahead and tell your blast from the past. Maybe it'll come out.
It's supposed to be you, episode 41.
It's supposed to be me.
Yep.
All right, so why don't you talk a bit then while I think of one?
This is the best. Yeah, because now I keep track of all of these things. You see? There's no more fooling me, damn you.
Yeah, I know.
This is the best. Yeah, the last game. Okay, I'll just start talking just randomly about anything. No. Let's see here. Well, the stuff for Twitch, it's funny because like I've got a lot of requests from people to play RPGs. A lot of people have been asking me like, why don't you play like Panzer Dragoon Saga and stuff like that nobody has access to, or like Shining the Holy Ark. And I'm like, oh man, you have no idea how much I would enjoy doing that. That would be so flippin' awesome to like play through, because it gives you a reason to play through it when you know other people are watching and are interested in and things like that. It's like, but you're right. You are right about what you say about certain like action games and stuff. And that's why like I think it would actually be kind of fun for some of these types of games to go through this, because you can see your skills slowly developing as you play, like I had to record some footage for the last episode that we did of Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 2. And it was interesting because like I was getting very frustrated with Castlevania 1, but I was like, oh man, like I actually want to keep playing, but I didn't want to.
Do we have Castlevania 1 as a previous blast from the past? Do you have the list in front of you?
I do. Wait a sec. I just shut it. Blast from the past. Here we go. Episode 13 has nothing, man. It's so sad to see that.
I don't believe we do have Castlevania 1.
All
right, so that will be my blast from the past then. And you can keep talking while you were saying what you were going to say about it.
Castlevania. And hold on, I write this in so there's no more cheating. All right. So yeah, it's that's where you're like, that's where Steven's right with the, like Twitch. That's where you'd go and you'd play, and you'd have fun. People in the comments being like, "Oh, you suck," and as you'd get better, you'd sort of band together and you'd overcome this obstacle and you'd have fun doing it, right? But it's not as fun when you're just capturing footage for like a podcast like this and you see the guy like dying because there's no interactivity, there's no like, it's just not as fun to watch that, and there's also no commentary.
For me, like that's what I would do with Twitch, is that the interaction with the community is what I would love. Like I would personally just stream hours and hours of just shiny hunting in Pokemon. Like that's something that's extremely tedious to do, shiny hunting. But when you have someone that's watching and talking to you, like I've watched a lot of streams of actual people shiny hunting, and it's a blast to do so because they're interacting, they're joking around, they're saying stuff. It makes a task that at heart very boring. It makes it enjoyable and exciting, because I don't know about you, you've probably never watched that, but I actually watched a few streams where I saw a shiny appear on stream, and the reaction, like you could tell because you had a similar reaction when you got your shiny Mewtwo, but seeing a streamer get a shiny Pokemon is exceptional. And when you watch one, you know that the odds of that happening are very low, but eventually it will. Like most of the time, streamers stream for hours and hours and hours on end before they get their shiny. So if you manage to be on the stream during that that event, that you feel special, and it's something that's very fun to do. So that's why, like, when you streamed the Link to the Past blind run, like, that was such a blast, and I was a bit sad that I had to leave for work, but I managed to be there for the beginning, and I came back just for the end, and that was amazing. That's why I want you to do a run of ALTTP every month, because that's just a magical game, and one that you have a connection to that most of us don't. So it's something that you can actually bring a lot to the table, and that's like one of these days when I have a bigger internet connection, which probably at this point might never happen, sadly.
That's so
because
sad.
I might get an upgrade next year, and the upgrade will be that I will have 10 megabyte speed. That will be my upgrade. That's what I have looking forward to here, which is sad. And I don't know what the minimum speed is for me to be able to stream something, but I'm pretty sure it's high, because you seem to have you had some minor problems at some point, and your speed is like what, 50 or 100. So yeah,
It's your fault. That's it. It's all your fault. You and the small town, damn it. Look at what you've done.
yeah. I know.
But, I mean, like, you will never hear an argument from me from that sort of stuff. I mean, when I was going through, like, I did quite a few, well, I did the whole game. I did all of Dragon Quest 11 online on Twitch. But it was only, like the post game, really, where I started, figuring out how to get that interaction with the fans and stuff. And that was really cool. I mean, that was really, really, really cool. And I agree, like, it makes doing tedious things that much more accessible. And I kind of wish that, like, the 3DS, it sucks that there's no, like, out, like, part of me really is hoping that your prediction there of, like, I forget what it was, like an HD 3DS, yeah, like, I would love that if that happened with, like, an HDMI out.
So there's still a workaround.
I know
still have access to it, but
but again,
it's never too late, man.
It always goes back to that stupid thing. It's a dumb workaround, because if Windows updates, you're done. Like, you just spent like $500 on your workaround, and it's out of your control. Once, like, that software won't be updated forever, and that's the kind of thing that sucks, is that I hate knowing that kind of stuff, because it's like now, like, I want to take a study break, so I'm going to go play some Dragon Quest 4. Oh, but I want to do some grinding, because I feel like actually going in the casino and doing this, that, or the other thing. If I knew that it was as simple as just taking an HDMI cord and slunk, plugging it in, and boom, I'm good to go. And then I can easily, play for half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever, disconnect, and then, go off and do something else. But, like, it's not that simple. That's what makes the Switch so awesome, even more than the PlayStation 4 or any of the rest, is that if you saw my setup, I actually have a spare Switch dock permanently connected to my computer, so that regardless of where I'm playing or what I'm playing, if the mood strikes and I'm like, you know what, nah, let's go stream this, all I have to do is walk over, slam the Switch in, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, and you keep making excuses not to stream Pokken with me, and we've had plenty of opportunities, and you keep letting me down, and it's too bad.
What do you mean? What opportunities have we had? Every opportunity I've had is,
I keep seeing you pop up on Twitch. You're streaming this, streaming that, instead of just, hey, Steven texted me asking if I'm available. Most of the weekends I am, but you never ask.
I haven't
you
streamed.
never ask.
I haven't streamed in over a week.
Oh yeah, but you've had your game back well over 2 weeks now, and you've never. I keep having to do all the arrangements, and you keep having excuses, and it's too bad, because today the second wave of DLC is out for Pokken. Would have been a perfect day, but no.
Well, no, today
you have to go play your Dragon Quest 4 instead.
No, I have to go potentially see my oh my God, my nephew. Oh my Lord, I'm getting old. Oh my Lord.
Nephew, you're getting old.
Yes. Unlike some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is depressing. So did you remember what you wanted to talk about, the other topic?
No. and didn't come back. But
you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens. This is old age. You see?
Yeah, it's old. I'm actually getting old. I'm much younger than you.
Yeah, well,
like what, 8 years younger than you?
I am young at heart, and
but my body is older. My body is older.
Damn right it is.
Yeah. But yeah, the Blast from the Past is Castlevania, very fun game. Like, I love the music of that game. We've had footage of it in the last Fanboyz, I believe.
Yep.
So I don't think we need to do a very long episode here, but just quickly, are you surprised this year? And you probably don't know about this because I don't know why you don't listen to podcasts. I don't know if you're still like, it's your old mentality where you're still listening to records and whatever it is. You still have cassette tapes in your car and stuff like that. But like you seem to be completely out of it, and all you need to do is listen to a podcast or two. But I was gonna ask you, have you been surprised this year at how soon the E3 hype is happening? Like, already all the plans for E3, and there's so much E3 talk, and we're only in March, and it started last month, and E3 is what, in the beginning of June?
Yep. Yeah, something like that. And I honestly haven't heard anything. Period.
That's what I was thinking. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you have anything else to add, this is going to be our shortest podcast in a while. But
no. Well, I actually do have one thing. I have more and more lately, I've been purposely disconnecting myself from certain things. So like Facebook, I barely ever go on that anymore. I have to use Messenger because I have a few people at work, for whatever reason, they don't believe in texting. They believe in Facebook Messenger. Don't ask. I don't get it. So that's that. I have a separate app though for that. But in terms of like social media, I really, as Jared, not as Project COE still do a lot of stuff with Twitter and stuff like that. But individually there, I really don't do much. And I've actually found that my passion for games is actually getting stronger as every year goes by. The more I get disconnected from what's actually going on. And why that is because I end up getting surprised, and I kind of miss that surprise from the day when there was no magazines, not no magazines, but no internet and stuff like that. So like E3, like I don't know anything. I have no idea what's coming out or whatever, and I'll want to chime in closer to the event to be like, oh, okay, you know, like Nintendo right now with their current strategy with the directs and stuff like that is absolutely perfect for me, because if I don't really pay much attention, then when they do release a video, everything that they announce is basically a surprise, you know, or maybe not fully a surprise, but, you know, it will be a little bit of a surprise. But outside of Nintendo right now, the only thing that's happening that I would kind of be interested in is the new God of War. I haven't paid any attention to that either, but I don't have it ordered. I don't have nothing because, like I said, I don't know what's going on right now. So I'm not buying any video games at all, with the exception of Ni no Kuni 2 and Kirby. And they're both, well, Kirby's right beside me, and Ni no Kuni actually arrived while we were on the podcast. They never rang the doorbell. Instead, I get a text saying, we're unable to deliver your package. I'm like, well, thank you, you douchebags. You didn't even ring the doorbell. That's super nice. So, but outside that, I'm not buying anything all year long until I find out like what's going on with
I give you a day.
School.
You've been buying so much stuff lately. I give you a day, and then you'll buy a bunch more games that will sit besides you. And
I haven't bought anything. What are you talking about? This year is my record. We're in March. And
it's funny because you have gift cards that you could actually use for games that you want to play now, but your excuse is it's not real money. So I'll buy a bunch of stuff, surround myself with stuff, and then say I haven't bought anything.
Well, gifts I'm not counting as
they're
anything.
Gift cards that you can use to buy games you plan on playing when there's a game that's coming out. But no, you bought tons of games that you will probably never play.
I bought those games that I wanted to play, like the Skyrims and all that crap. But now I may actually have a chance to go and play all of them because, like I say, if I'm not going to go back and play anything else, I mean, like God of War is legitimately was really
God of War, you should receive a code from Sony, no?
No, because I can't do the review.
Because we received one for Horizon.
Yeah, but I that's only if I do the review. I didn't submit a request for it because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the review for it. So that's that. But anyways, alrighty. So this is not bad, man. We're at 54 or 55 minutes. That's a good podcast.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in 2 weeks, and we'll see what happens. Well, keep your eye on all the E3 stuff. Maybe you can be the one to surprise me with the big news.
Yeah, next time we'll be a Canadian Gamers, so maybe we'll do a part 2 of your gaming history. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'd also like to do that with you. I don't really have to ask any questions. Just say, so, how did your life begin?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us. And like I said, we'll catch you in 2 weeks. Have a good one.